4 of the best basketball players in the entire state of Utah, and all of them reside in Colville, attending North Summit High School. What these all-state team selections had to say about their placement. Plus, we're talking with head coach of Wasatch Lacrosse, Kevin Wallace, ahead of the budding rivalry game between Wasatch and Park City. It's a crosstown rivalry you're not going to want to miss coming up this week. All that right now on the Scoreboard. All state selections in the state of Utah have wrapped up. We know who is Mr. Basketball for the state, who is the player of the year for each classification in Utah. And when it comes to North Summit High School in Colville, Utah, pretty small town, they have 4 representatives of the all-state Class 2A teams. That's honorable mention, second team, as well as first team. We got to catch up with all 4 of them in Colville earlier this week. So starting things off, here is Blake O'Reilly sitting down with the panel, as we have called them, of perennial basketball players up in Colville. Blake?
So right now we are hanging out with Trey Pace, Heartland Richens, Chesley Langston, and Hazelyn Murdoch. 4 selections of the all-state teams for the 2A class. I kind of wanted to start off with Trey really quick. Trey, we were a little shocked, to be honest, when we saw where your placement was on the all-state team. Did you feel like you kind of got a little snub not being first team or even player of the year?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
My goal from last year was to make it, first team, but it is what it is. Yeah. You can look at it like, I got robbed, or you can look at it and be like, I made second team. So there's 2 ways you can look at it.
We kind of punched the numbers, and it just didn't really make a whole lot of sense. What do you think might have been the difference maker in terms of the decision making?
Probably making it to state. Yeah. You look at all the stats, that all those kids are below me. But, they're good players, that's no doubt, but it is what it is.
All right, so we're going to move over to the girls team. And first of all, it's very, very impressive to see what this team has done. Combined between the 3 of you is how much time Trey has had here at the school. 4 years, freshman, and a sophomore, is that correct? And so it's pretty incredible what this team accomplished, and also the adjustments that had to be made over time. How do you feel this season went overall? Are you satisfied, or are you looking for more next year?
Having Marcy was a huge thing for us, and she was such a big part of our team. But I think having her gone just helped us to become a better team that played together, and we learned how to play off of each other, and I think that really helped us the rest of the season, and it's going to help us prepare for next year. So I definitely was satisfied how we did for as young as we are, and now we're just more prepared for next season.
Hazelyn, I wanted to ask you, did your team know the talent that was coming into this class before the season started? Did this team know how good it could be?
Well, I'd say our coaches, an open gym during the summer, they saw me and Heartland were good for freshmen. And then as the season went on, when Marcy got hurt, and I was Heartland obviously had to be the point guard because she's good. And then, I don't know, I think they realized we had potential, and we did what we could. So.
Was there when Marcy went down, she mentioned to us before the season really started, before she got injured, she told us that the younger core, which clearly was the 3 of you, needed a little bit more confidence, I think.
We're a really young team this year. So we graduated 6 girls last year. So we graduated our whole varsity team. So I think it's just the confidence of the younger girls just stepping into those bigger roles. And once they get the confidence, then the connection on the court will just click, and then we'll be fine.
Did the team have almost a meeting or a coming of ideas in terms of, hey, we really need to start playing like a team, we need to step up now that Marcy's out, or else we're not going to win basketball games? Did anything like that ever happen?
It was before one of our games, and she told us she was done for the season. And then Coach Holm just kind of said, this is it now. So just go and give it your all for the rest of the season because there's no going back.
Over the course of this season, there were ups, there were downs. You were kind of the consistent factor throughout the entire season. Do you feel like this team reached its potential, or do you feel like there was a lot more that should have been accomplished? And how do you feel about the season overall?
I feel like we did better than what a lot of people expected us to do, because I was the only one that has ever even played varsity ball. So I think we did shock a lot of the people, but I mean, obviously we could have made it to state and did a little bit better, but yeah.
In terms of the girls team again, honorable mention, second team, first team, what does it mean to all three of you to now know that this is some of the top of the line talent across the entire class?
I think it just gives us more confidence for the next years to be able to just play how we play.
Do you guys think that you could maybe win another state championship? Chesley, I know you have one. The two of you haven't had that opportunity yet, but you made it to the semifinals this year. Do you think that a state championship is close?
I'd say it's pretty close just because we're young and like all of us have had a lot of varsity time, so we can only go and get better from here, honestly.
Is there any young talent that is coming up that you three are aware of that might have the impact that the three of you have had so far?
Well, yeah, a lot of them are my cousins coming up, so that's good, I guess.
How do you feel like the team chemistry dealt with the ups and downs of this season for the three of you?
I think we were really able to build off of each other's energy, especially during state. Like, I think it was obvious when we just weren't having a good game, and I think just the chemistry between us was able to help us kind of lift each other up, and we have good relationships outside of basketball, and so I think that our chemistry is really good, and just keeping our team spirit up and lifting each other up and just kind of building off of each other.
You're not going to want to miss the second half of that interview. That is coming up next right here on the Scoreboard, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Scoreboard is proudly sponsored by Andrea Cox Mortgage. Welcome to First Rate Mortgage.
My name's James, and I've been in the market for mortgages several times over the years, so I've gone through the process with different people. And when I met Andrea, she explained to me why my current loans were subpar and how she could get better loans with better rates.
If I had to describe Andrea in one word, I think I would use the word passionate. She is very passionate about what she does and getting the right solutions for her clients, and that made her an absolute pleasure to work with.
Hi, I'm Andrea Cox. You can reach me at 435-631-9262. Call me, text me, or you can reach me at my website, andreacoxmortgage.com.
Hey guys, welcome back into the Scoreboard. Again, I'm your host, Brigham Harris, on this Tuesday, April 5th episode. Basketball season is long in the past. However, up in Colville, there are 4 players named to the AllState 2A teams. And Blake O'Ruling got to sit down and chat with all 4 of them. Let's jump to the second half of that interview right now.
Trey, do you have any collegiate plans? Are there any words of any sort of offers or things like that?
Well, I've talked to probably 7 or 8 different schools from out of state of Utah, but they're all tuition's $30,000 or all this stuff. So I don't know. I'm just kind of seeing where life takes me. Yeah. I've talked to USU Eastern, but they haven't gotten back to me. So I guess we'll just ride the wave and see where it takes me.
Any club teams, any travel teams that are post grad, anything like that?
No, I've never played AAU or nothing.
Another one for Trey, really quick. With these younger generation players, you obviously have a lot of experience on the varsity team, as you mentioned. Do you have any advice for this young core of basketball players?
Just enjoy it. It goes by quick. Once it's over, it's over. It's weird. I used to play basketball every day, and now it's over. So it's definitely weird, but yeah, just enjoy it.
How much do you miss it?
Right now, a lot. With March Madness going on, a lot right now, but oh well.
Was there ever a time when you felt like maybe the age of the team and the I don't want to say lack of experience, but the youth of the team, do you think that ever played an impact on the team in terms of playing very well or not maybe playing as well, be it in any sort of tight game?
Well, I mean, for me, there's obviously times I made, it was obvious I was a freshman because of the mistakes I've made, but I mean, I think if you go into games thinking they're all seniors and they all know how to play and it's scary, then I don't know, like those games for me, I just didn't play as good. But if you go in and just realize I am a freshman that plays varsity, it's even cooler, I guess. So.
Yeah, how is it kind of being, a leader on this team? You have a state championship under your belt. You're a starting player. You're one of the top players now in the entire state. Is there a lot of pressure on you now going into your junior and senior seasons?
I think that there's a lot of pressure on not just me, but the rest of my classmates that are kind of playing that leadership role. I think that the rest of the team kind of plays off of our energy, and if we kind of go in thinking like this could go either way instead of having that confidence, I think it's important for us to just kind of not be snobs, but walk in with like our heads held high, because I mean, for as young as we are, like we can play.
What does it feel like actually going up against these, older players, people who have played a lot more varsity minutes, and this younger team is playing so well? What does it feel like to get a double-double, Hazelin? What does it feel like to have 12 assists in a game, Heartland? What does it feel like to get, 15 rebounds in a game, Chesley? Like, what does it feel like?
Yeah, I feel like once I'm in my zone, I mean, I really don't like stress too much about stats. Just want to win.
For me, it's not so much that like the team's older. For me, it's a lot more height. Like if I'm playing big girls, I get really intimidated, and but I think playing older teams, and especially like the big schools that we played in our preseason, I think definitely helped us, just because we got that experience and we had to work hard for those games. And so I think playing these girls that are so much older than us and have had more experience has just kind of helped us prepare for our season going into state and things like that.
Plus, like, for me, going against, like, big schools, like Chesley said, that are all seniors, it gives you, like, a boost of confidence for us being so young. It really shows us that we can compete with these people and that our skills are matched or even higher than some that we've played.
So with Trey being a senior, and as you are all, younger and still have a few more seasons, Trey, we're going to have a little bit of a kumbaya session here. If all three of you could say something that you kind of admired about Trey's game, and then in return, Trey, if you could let them all know what you thought this team did and how impressed you were with the season they had.
Something that I always noticed about Trey during his games is he was always looking to build up his team, like whether they were down or whether they were winning, like he was always giving his best effort and playing his best game. Whether it was or wasn't his best game, it was always like his best effort, and whatever the outcome was, he had a good attitude.
I always liked how he keeps his cool, like especially when he gets mad or like the team gets down and stuff. He keeps just trying to win.
I'd say like he knew what it was going to be like coming into the season, so he really put in all of his effort, just from his sister being in our grade telling us all the times they go to the gym and stuff. Just it really it makes you realize you need to put in time to be one of the best.
What I thought was really cool is, you were kind of in the same boat as our team, a lot younger though. And I think you beat teams that a lot of people thought you guys would lose to. And then you guys just went in with a good attitude, and you proved the two-way what you guys have. And I think next year, you guys are going to be on the radar, and a lot of people are going to be looking at you. So, yeah, you guys definitely did good for the season.
Really appreciate the time, and good luck to all of you in terms of, post-graduation and as well in the following seasons to come. We'll be covering it, so we're really excited for it. Thank you.
A big thank you and congratulations to Hazelin Murdoch, Heartland Richens, Chesley Langston, as well as Trey Pace. Again, almost lost count. There's so much talent up there in Colville, but not just them. Camas, Utah, also South Summit, the rivals of North Summit, also had a handful of All-State players as well. We are going to be talking to them, hopefully, fingers crossed. They're on spring break right now, so hopefully in the next few days or couple of weeks, we'll get to sit down with the All-State selections from South Summit as well. Now, don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're catching up with Kevin Wallace, the head coach of the Wasatch Lacrosse team, and they've got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder trying to get this rivalry going with Park City. We'll be right back.
With its world-famous sandy beaches, stunning postcard views, and a laid-back beach town vibe, welcome to San Diego. I'm Stephanie J. This is the Opulent Minute. Escape today to Whitefield Vistas in La Jolla. Originally built in 1928, this recently remodeled estate maintains its quaint classic feel while impressing with its rustic modern charm and bright decor. I'm here with Sarah with Toddlers Travels. Tell us a little bit about what services you provide.
We're a full-service baby and beach equipment rental company for travelling families coming to San Diego, so you can travel hassle-free with young children.
Book now through our concierge services page on opulentvacations.com. Renowned master architect Russell Forrester designed the living room and downstairs suite, as well as the expansive decks surrounded by tropical gardens with an ocean view. This home is perfect for your next luxury vacation. Thanks for watching The Opulent Minute. Book now at opulentvacations.com.
Hey everyone, welcome back into the Scoreboard. I'm your host, Brigham Harris. We're going to jump right over to boys lacrosse. We've also talked about baseball today, softball, we've talked about basketball a little bit, and we are going to stick right with boys lacrosse because we've got two of the most talented teams here in the Wasatch back. Park City versus Wasatch. That's sort of a broken record when you talk about rivalries in the area, but this time boys lacrosse not usually being thrown into the conversation. That is what we hope to see change, in the words of Kevin Wallace, the head coach of the Wasatch High School boys lacrosse team. I got the chance to catch up with him a couple weeks ago ahead of the first game of this major rivalry that we're going to be seeing tomorrow. So right now, let's jump over to my interview with Kevin Wallace. Hey, what's up, everyone? Brigham Harris here for the Scoreboard, and right now we are joined by the Wasatch boys lacrosse head coach, Kevin Wallace. Kevin, thank you for taking some time with us.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, we're happy to have you here on our show, and to be in an empty Wasatch High School, to have all the surrounding quietness that we need to talk about it. But let's get a little bit into your season. You guys are 1-0 to start off this year. Tell me just a little bit about some expectations that you may have for your team in 2022.
Yeah, my biggest expectation is for us to continue moving forward as a team. Every year of Wasatch's existence of a lacrosse team, we've gotten better and we've improved for the past year. And this year, we feel like we have the team to continue improving. So we started off great in our first game. We played we played in some tough conditions after a 2-hour road trip, so a little bit of adversity, and we responded well and came out with a good team win. Got everyone involved, and so our goal is to challenge for the 5A championship, and we feel like for us to get there, we need to win our region. So one of our team goals is to go undefeated in our region and win a region, which that would be fun because that would be our first trophy that Wasatch has ever won. And then next, we want to finish with more than 12 wins. We feel like that would set us up well for our seeding for the playoffs, and then finally we want to get a top 5 seed in 5A to set us up to be a playoff contender.
That's awesome. Well, that convincing win, that team win you just talked about, was a 17-4 victory over Bear River. You mentioned the elements were a big part. What did your boys show you in that first win? The first game of the season, a lot of times guys have jitters and whatnot, but what did your boys show you that really makes you confident about this season?
Well, I think the number one thing was the teamwork. Out of our 17 goals, 13 of them were assisted, which when you're playing, especially if a game starts to turn into a blowout, it's very easy for guys everyone wants to get their goal, and everyone gets a little selfish and stops playing the team offense, and we were the exact opposite of that, where as the game went on, we got more and more unselfish, and so we had 13 assists in that game, and then we had 11 different players contribute a point on offense, and so really good production from all of our attackmen. Our midfielders, we had some great performances from Owen Urker and Connor Osborne and Dylan Dixon, which they're all first-line middies for us. They all contributed with goals and assists. And our attack Caleb Taylor had 4 goals and 4 assists, very balanced play. Ethan Urker, one of our other attackmen, had 4 goals and 3 assists. And then we had 2 other attackmen that scored. One had 2 goals and one had 1 goal and 1 assist. And so just very balanced, got a lot of people in, didn't see a drop-off as we subbed and rotated different players in, and that's what you want to see, I think, especially for that first game, is seeing the guys go out there and have the confidence to execute. And, it's very easy for guys to be unselfish and play a good team style in practice, but then when the stats matter in the games, it's very common to see guys become more selfish, and we saw the opposite of that. And then I think the other piece was just we saw them battle with some adversity with, 15-degree weather and some wind after a 2-hour bus ride, and they responded well. They took it, they didn't complain, and we just played hard.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned how one of your goals is to win the first ever lacrosse trophy here for the Wasatch High School lacrosse team. And you mentioned some other goals. A lot of things have changed, actually, in UHSAA-sanctioned high school lacrosse. One of those we talked about before the camera came on, that you guys are now, it's strictly 5A for a state tournament versus a seeded RPI, and you may face against 4 or 6A. What are some things that you're excited about when it comes to this new rule, this new format, I guess you could say?
Yeah, I think the number one thing is knowing the teams that you're going to be seeing in playoffs, where as far as when we were putting together a schedule for this upcoming year, we were able to try to pick the teams that we felt like would be some of the top contenders in 5A, like Park City and Brighton, and get them on make sure that they were on the schedule, as well as some other good teams like East and Skyline. And so it helps us to build a schedule that I think challenges us, but then also prepares us for the playoffs, where past years you didn't really know who was going to end up in what bracket, and so it was just kind of a crapshoot as far as what teams to schedule.
All right, the second half of that interview with Kevin Wallace is coming at you right after this break, so we'll be right back right here on the Scoreboard.
Hi guys, I'm Janet the Dairy King. We're famous here for our ice cream. We have 84 different kinds of shapes. We also have some amazing food, so come and try our chicken strips, our fish and chips dinners, our burgers, our fries, our sweet potato fries. Oh my gosh, we've got so much. Once you go over to the Heber Valley Railroad and ride their train, then of course you have to come here and see all of our trains. Our family's serving your family since 1946. We hope to see you soon here at the Dairy King.
Hey guys, welcome back into the Scoreboard. Again, I'm your host, Brigham Harris. For our Tuesday episode, we are looking ahead, and in doing so, let's look ahead to the second half of that interview with head coach of Wasatch Boys Lacrosse, Kevin Wallace. Park City, I wanted to ask you about that game that you have in just a couple of weeks, the first week of April. Tell me just a little bit about the expectations. I know that there is a crosstown rivalry, but what are some things you hope to bring to that game as the lacrosse coach?
Well, I think the first thing is we want to make it a real rivalry. It hasn't been a rivalry because I don't think Park City sees us as rivals, because all of our games against them, Park City has been able to beat us pretty handily. And I think that this is the first year where we have a team that is ready to challenge Park City. And so, you know, we're going to put in the work we can in the next couple of weeks and prepare ourselves to give them the best game we can. And I think that, you know, that's our number one goal, is to make this a rivalry, because we want to have that rival in lacrosse, and we want to, you know, also prove to ourselves that we belong at, you know, in the top of 5A, and that road's always going to go through Park City, because Park City's been a great program for so long. So, you know, we feel like we match up well with them, and we're excited for the game.
Kevin, I wanted to ask you, you've been the head coach here for a handful of years now, and now that lacrosse is sanctioned, it's a very much legitimate sport in the state of Utah. What are some things culture-wise that you want to instill in Wasatch Lacrosse?
Yeah, I think the first thing, and this is something that we covered in our players meeting in January, and then again with the players and parents after tryouts were concluded, was whether we win or lose, we want to do it the right way. We want to win or lose with class, because, you know, when I look back at my lacrosse experience, so much more of it is about the lessons I learned, the relationships I had, and how it helped me develop as a person. And so we definitely want that to be a part of the program here at Wasatch. We want to win. I think winning and learning to be competitive is a part of that, but we also need to make sure we're doing it the right way, and that we are, you know, we respect the other team, we respect the other team's fans, we respect the officials. And so I think that is something that I've always, you know, my 4 previous years of coaching, that was something that we focused on a lot, and I felt like the boys really embraced, and that's something that, especially this year, we want to make sure that we get back to. A lot of people know about a fight last year, and, you know, some allegations around that, and whether or not everything there is accurate, we have a reputation that we need to make sure that we improve, that we show other teams that we are good sports, that we are respectful, that we respect the game, and that we are teaching our young men up here to be, you know, good contributing members of the community, because that's what they are. It's a really great group of young men. They've really bought in. They really have that brotherhood and that unselfishness that we like to see on the field. And we need to make sure that people are, when they hear Wasatch Lacrosse, they think of a good lacrosse program with a team that wins the right way. Yeah. And that's really what we're looking to establish here.
Well, some fantastic words of wisdom. You're obviously a great head coach, a 17-4 win in the first game. You're obviously a great mentor as well, very respectful thoughts and words that it sounds like, these kids are going to have a pretty easy time learning with a leader like you. I wanted to ask you about that first Bear River game, right? You had the 17-4 win, the only game of that week, and then almost all your boys go on spring break, yep. And then you come back the next week and you have to face a tough team like Brighton. Mm-hmm. Tell me your thoughts going into that one with all this backstory.
Yeah, one of the joys of playing up here at Wasatch is our spring break comes really early in the season, where a lot of other teams, they get theirs kind of in the middle of the season. We feel like we just got going and now we have a week off. And so the biggest thing is we're still holding practices for the players that are here in town, and all the guys that are on vacation, they all took their lacrosse sticks. They're out on the beaches of Mexico or wherever, keeping their sticks in their hands and hopefully doing some running as well. But they all know the importance of the Brighton game on Tuesday. And they know that they have to come back and play their best if we want to get a win in that game. And so there's, I think there's a lot of determination to make sure that we don't have, some sort of spring break, slump after, coming back. And so we'll see what we can do, and, we'll get back at it on Monday and prepare for Brighton the best we can.
Yeah. Really quick, last question. We talked about Brighton. We talked about Park City. Is there a game on your schedule this year that you are the most looking forward to, excluding playoffs, of course?
I think it's probably Park City. There's some other games, though. I think Waterford last year, they beat Wasatch by 1, and Skyline was a close game as well. Juan Diego was another heartbreaking game, and we play all those teams again this year. And so we've got a lot of games where we have a chip on our shoulder going in, where we want to prove something this year. And so we're just excited to get out there and get playing.
Awesome. Well, again, head coach Kevin Wallace here for Wasatch High School Boys Lacrosse. We thank you so much for the time, and we wish you the best of luck going forward.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Now, we are no longer talking weeks or days. We are just hours until the first face-off of the Wasatch versus Park City Boys Lacrosse game, the only one of this season in 2022. Of course, unless they meet each other again in the playoffs, it is going to be an absolutely amazing match. And it was an amazing day today on the Scoreboard, talking about all of our sports here in the Wasatch back. Again, if you're either a Park City or a Wasatch or even just a lacrosse fan, you're going to want to get out to Heber City tomorrow afternoon for that amazing matchup in the first rivalry game, possibly of this new age of Wasatch Lacrosse in Heber. Thank you again so much for watching. I'm Brigham Harrison for Blake Arulian. We appreciate you watching. Check out PCTV every Tuesday and Friday at 6 and 10 p.m. or go to our website, thescoreboardnation.com, or follow us on Instagram at ScoreboardNation, and we will see you on the next one.